Not sure which chair to sit in.
I suppose that one.
Kate, the theme of the show is Game of Thrones. You seem to be dressed for the occasion.
I am, I think. Normal business wear for me.
You're the defender of the game developers. You're raising your sword for them.
Exactly. I fight for the developers.
So let's get right to the point. You recently released a game developer satisfaction survey. And the question that you were asking is, are developers in fact satisfied? And the conclusion that you seem to come to is, yeah. Developers are passionate. They more and more want to do this as their full-time career. So in that sense, they're satisfied, right?
For the most part. We do this survey every year to basically gauge the notion, our game developers as individuals, not as companies, but as individual developers working in this industry. Do they like their jobs? Do they like the working conditions? Do they like where the industry is going? Do they like the evolution of the technology? Do they like the evolution of game design and all those factors? And so when we ask this question every year, we try and gauge that general qualitative notion of satisfaction. And in general, yes, I mean, game developers, they are satisfied from the perspective that they are extremely passionate, creative artists, because that's what they are. Generating what they have always wanted to do. It is a passion-driven industry. So they get to do what they want to do. They get to create these amazing games, whether it's indie games, whether it's AAA, whatever it might be. But at the same time, there's sort of a agony and the ecstasy aspect to this. So if you know that movie, the story of Michelangelo painting the Sistine Chapel, incredible passion, incredible skill, but also this incredible agony in terms of the effort that it takes to do it and the conditions under which you're doing it. And so there is something of a disconnect in terms of weighing that incredible passion and then also seeing some of the things that developers have to put up with.
Can you elaborate on the agony?
Well, sure. I mean, one of the things that we all know very much about is crunch time. It's something that we mention in this industry quite a bit. In fact, we sometimes mention it so much that we just stop mentioning it because it's just, well, that's just the way the industry is. And I think for creative industries, not just games, but film, television, other industries, you think about writers, you think about painters, there is a certain effort that goes into it that goes beyond work hours. I mean, there's something about the creative passion behind it where you want to create the absolute best outcome, and especially when you're doing a collaborative project like game development where you want to put out the best product possible when the date hits. And I think for the most part, I mean, like a lot of artists, if you didn't have an actual date that you were shooting for, you'd probably iterate on that thing a hell of a lot longer than you are. And sometimes if you're certain companies like Blizzard, that you have the freedom to just kind of iterate until you feel that it's ready to go. But most companies don't have that freedom, and certainly most developers don't have that freedom to do that. So you are up against a deadline, and so you must work towards the deadline. And so along with that, I mean, that driving towards that deadline is driven by passion, but it also comes at a great cost when you're seeing that,